Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be going through the 7 income streams that make me $20,000 per month. Dividends, 2%. I used to have a really complicated stock portfolio. I used to spend heaps and heaps of time researching the best ETFs and the best stocks to buy, but now I auto-invest and I keep my portfolio very simple. Every month I invest in 2 ETFs, VEU and VTS, and this gives me access to the world's stock market. And if you would like to get started investing, I've created a free investing cheat sheet which you can check out in my description. So what exactly are dividends? Dividends are essentially the profits that a company decides to distribute to their shareholders. A really important lesson when I started my wealth building journey is that rich people buy assets, whereas the poor and the middle class buy liabilities. An asset is something that puts money back into your pockets, and a liability is something that takes money out of your pockets. And this is a lesson that I learned from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. So if I do have any leftover money, I prefer to buy stocks, real estate, or even reinvest the profits back into my own business rather than buying liabilities. But of course, I'm only human, and I also do like to buy liabilities from time to time because you only live once after all. So how can you start investing in stocks that pay a dividend? Investing nowadays is actually really simple. You can literally start investing from $5 with an app on your phone. However, you do need quite a lot of money invested in order to get a lot of dividends. Referrals, 10%. The main way that I earn referrals is through my social media presence on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. When I first started this channel back in 2020, I was so scared of judgment until I realized some people won't like you no matter what you do, and some people will like you no matter what you do. At the end of the day, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. And I learned this from the book Savage Wisdom. The way that I earn referrals is if I decide to share a link to a product or a brand that I actually really like and use, and somebody decides to sign up with my link, then I will earn a commission from that. I only share links to products that I actually really like and use, and I think my audience will find valuable. And the people that sign up with my links help supports this channel, which employs people like me and Pablo and our new editor Julian, and help support us creating more content to help people's money go further. So if you have used any of our links in the past, thank you so much. So how can you start earning money from referrals? Building an audience definitely makes it easier to earn money from referrals. The way that you can build an audience is by sharing useful tips and actual reviews from products and services that you actually enjoy. One of the referrals that I made when I was just getting started was sharing my phone plan provider because they had a refer a friend bonus. And through my phone plan provider, I was able to sign up quite a lot of people. So thank you so much if you have used this service in the past. In terms of difficulty, I would rate this a 3 out of 10. Rental income, 10%. We have an investment property which we purchased in 2019 for $500,000. We made some renovations to it, and at the time we were actually living in that apartment. We decided to move out of our apartment and to rent our apartment out while we were overseas last year for a couple of months so we wouldn't lose money on it. And now we have the most amazing tenants in our apartment, and we are just really happy. We also recently learned from one of our friends that we can actually do a depreciation schedule on the renovations that we made on our apartment. Although we can't depreciate our appliances because we were living in the apartment before we decided to rent it out, but all of the other things we're able to depreciate, which is really cool. A really important lesson that I've learned in my wealth building journey is to just plant your tree. No one plants an apple tree and comes back a week later. You don't move your tree a week later to a sunnier spot. You just trust the process that one day you will have a tree. After a year, you get the first apples. Although they are small and sour, you may even forget about the tree for a while. Now that tree has grown thick roots and great apples, and now your kids can eat the apples. Personal finance is the same. And this is a quote from the book The Barefoot Investor. And I think this quote is so true. When it comes to building wealth, you do have to trust the process. I know it can be really hard to not check your portfolios constantly and check your investments constantly to see if they've gone up and down, because I definitely do this more than I should. But there is a really interesting study that they did with Fidelity. What they found was that their best investors were actually dead, or they had lost the passwords for their account. And what this shows us is the people that aren't checking their portfolios constantly are the ones that actually do better over the long term. So how can you start with rental income? I think what comes to mind when people think rental property is the rental income that you can get from an investment property. There are actually many other ways that you can earn rental income. You don't just have to rent out property. You can rent out your car on apps like Uber Car Share or Turo. If you have a parking spot that you're not using, you could even rent out out that parking spot. And if you have a room in your place that you're not using, you could even rent out that room. Investing in property can be quite expensive because there are a lot of hidden fees associated with purchasing property. And of course, you need to save up for your deposit or your down payment. And you also do need to pay regular repayments to your mortgage. But another way that you can get started investing in the property market is through a REIT, which is a real estate investment trust. A real estate investment trust essentially allows you to invest in property on the stock market. By investing in a real estate investment trust, you'll be investing in a company that invests in real estate. And since it is a trust, most of the profits are distributed to their shareholders each financial year. In terms of difficulty, I would rate this around a 4 out of 5 because you often do need to have the money or the assets in order to make some money from rental income. Digital products, 25%. We've created a beginner investing course and a few other paid assets which allow us to earn an income. One important lesson that has helped me build this income stream is successful businesses have assets. A lot of people, when they're looking to build their portfolios, look at purchasing stocks and real estate. But the funny thing is, a lot of businesses don't look at creating more assets or purchasing more assets for their business. And this is a bit of a missed opportunity because businesses that have assets are usually more successful. And I learned this from the book 24 Assets by Daniel Priestley. The way that you can get started with this income stream is by sharing what you know with other people. In terms of difficulty, I would rate this a 3 out of 5. It takes time to build assets, but once they're built and running smoothly, then it's essentially passive income. The next income stream is sponsored content, 40%. One important lesson that I've learned through building this income stream is if you can't decide, then the answer is no. And this is a quote from the book The Almanac of Naval. I think it's really important if you're looking to build your wealth and to increase the amount of income streams that you have, that you do stay true to your values. And I also believe in karma, and I really do think that what goes around comes around. So how can you start building this income stream of connecting with brands to create sponsored content for them? When I first started creating content, I would just look around my everyday life and the brands and products and the little money hacks that have really helped me grow my wealth or even just save me money on everyday purchases. And what I would do is I would share these hacks on social media. Sometimes I would mention a money hack that you can do at a particular store or at a particular brand just because I genuinely love the store or brand or the product. And occasionally, especially if the video did really well and it went really viral, those brands would actually reach out to me to do a sponsored campaign. And this was really exciting to me because I was just talking about these brands and these products that I loved for free, not expecting anything in return, and just so that I could help people, save money at these stores. And it was really cool to actually get that recognition and have these brands actually reach out back to me if they did have a campaign because they saw the video that I made organically for them just out of my own free will and they really liked it and wanted to sponsor some. So if you're looking to create some sponsored content with brands, I think just have a look at your everyday life, the brands and the products that you really love and use and will talk about completely for free. Make some content about those brands, and who knows, if somebody in maybe the marketing team sees that piece of content and they like it, maybe they'll reach out to you for a campaign. In terms of difficulty, I would rate this a 4 out of 5. YouTube ads, 5%. Something that I've learned from the past 3 years of creating content on YouTube is shorts content tends to get a lot more views and go a lot more viral really quickly, but it doesn't actually make a lot of money. Whereas long form content, some of those pieces can live on for many years and bring in consistent income. And the money that you can make from long form content is so much more than the money that you can make from short form content. And let me show you an example. So this is my most viral short form video. As you can see, it's gotten 9.3 million views, but I've only made $11.05 from it. And this is my most viewed long form video. It has 92,900 views and I've made $4,379 from it, which is so much more than the $11 I made from the shorts video. So something that I've learned through building this YouTube ads income stream is that short form content can get you a lot of views, but that doesn't necessarily translate into actual money. So if you do want to make more more money through YouTube ads, it is important to create really good long-form content as well. So how can you get started earning money through YouTube ads? You are able to monetize your videos and earn money from your YouTube videos when you have more than 1,000 subscribers and more than 4,000 hours of watch time. This took me around 6 months to achieve, but the first 1,000 subscribers is always the hardest to get on YouTube, and once you hit that first 1,000 subscribers, it gets so much easier. It really isn't a linear progression, it's more like an exponential progression. In terms of difficulty, I would rate this somewhere between a 3 out of 5 and a 4 out of 5. It doesn't take a lot of money to get started with making content on YouTube. I literally started making videos on my iPhone. You don't need a whole heap of fancy equipment in order to make a good video. Speaking events, 8%. As I've started to build more of an audience and more of a personal brand, more people have started reaching out to me to do speaking events, which is honestly so flattering. And sometimes I don't even know what to say because I still feel imposter syndrome when people reach out to me to speak at events. Something that I've learned in order to build this income stream is to practice gratitude. Whenever I do feel that imposter syndrome come up when I have an opportunity that I've never really had before, instead of thinking you're not good enough to receive this opportunity, I instead practice gratitude and joyfulness instead. And it's so important to practice gratitude and happiness and joyfulness instead of just trying to numb those things. And this is a lesson that I learned from the book Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. So how can you get started earning this income stream? One way is to create a personal brand online. As you give more value to your audience, then more people will start to take notice to the content that you're providing and the value that you're bringing, and potentially they'll start asking you to speak at events. In terms of difficulty, I would rate this a 3 out of 5. After watching this video and seeing all of the different income streams that you can earn, you may be feeling a little bit overwhelmed and unsure of which direction to go down. And I have a really important exercise that you can do in order to get more clarity. You know how people always say that you should focus on the 20% of work that brings you 80% of the results? How can you actually find out what is the 20% of work that brings you 80% of the results? And this is how you're going to do it. Get a piece of paper and draw a line down the center of it. On the left side, you're going to write down all of the activities that you do at work and be as specific as possible about all of these activities. On the right side of the piece of paper, you are going to write down your biggest wins in your career and in your life to date. Now start drawing lines connecting the task to the win. Once you finish this, start circling the activities that have contributed the most to your biggest wins. These are the 20% of work that will bring you 80% of the results. And I learned about this activity from the book Do Less. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. Let me know in the comments what income stream you're looking at building this year and how you're going with it. I would love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you would like my free investing cheat sheet, you can check it out using the link in my description. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!